Come with me to speak at IWD by Women Tech Makers Enugu 2026.
Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah. Hey there, what you drinking? 2 shots, let's pour it out. I know what you're thinking, but tomorrow won't come for us. This life that we're living, ain't never gonna give it up. Double shot for the gifted, and one more for us. There you go, drink it up.
Are you the one that is sitting here? You don't want to laugh.
All day, all night, living in pain.
Today I'm going to be talking about something very amazing, right? A topic that is often talked about, but talked about in such a way that is cliche, and that is how to build confidence as a woman in the tech ecosystem. Right? It is something that is often talked about, but today I'm not just going to be talking about how to build it in a generic way, but in a much deeper level, right? Because confidence is more than just what we know, what we see, or how people dress, or how people talk. There is more to it, right? And as a lady, it is very, very, very important in the way you carry yourself. It is going to do a whole lot in how people see you, how people perceive you, how people perceive your idea. So, before we get into the how to build confidence as a woman in the tech ecosystem, I would like us to actually try to understand what the word confidence actually means. Because oftentimes, as ladies, we often think that when we talk about being confident as a woman, you will think it's a woman who walks in a luxurious dress, drives her own car, has her own house, has a makeup all done, someone that, a lady that commands a room when she walks in, a lady that is audacious, a lady that has something going on in her life. And I mean, that is beautiful, that is amazing, that is great. But those are often the end product of what confidence actually means for you as a lady. Those are the end products. Because confidence is not something that is just external, what people see, something that stems from deep within. And if you can learn to do what? To be a confident woman, if you can learn to carry confidence in everything you do, not just the way you look, but in everything you embody, then the world will be ready for you, or ready for what you have. So, confidence. Now you know the misconception, that is what people often think, it's the way you look, type of shoe you wear, the house you live in as a lady. Now, what is confidence? Now you know the misconception, what is confidence? And I'll put it to you in very simple terms. Confidence is what? Self-belief. It is trusting in your own capacity, trusting in your own self, knowing that, even if somebody said to me, you can't do this, I know I can do it. Even if you grew up hearing I can't do it, you know I can do it. Even if somebody told you this your idea is so lame, you know it's not lame. You may not go up to the person and tell the person, like, this my idea is not lame, or you know. It is believing in yourself, and you don't need someone to do that. Self-validation, self-trust, self-belief is where it begins, right? And I'm actually going to break it to you, right? How to build this confidence, because it's very, very necessary in your work. But before we get into the how, right? I'm going to tell you a very short story about myself. Very, very short story, very amazing story. And that is the fact that ever since I started my career, ever since I started my journey, or starting from the time I knew myself as a child, I was the type of person that was very audacious. I was very confident as a child. There was nothing I could not do. I can sing, even till now. I can dance. I can talk. But over the years, something began to happen. It began to fade away. I began to become a shadow of my own self. I would always, as a child, I would stay in the mirror and I would look at myself and be like, God didn't create me. I would dress up myself with something that I love doing. Dressing up is something that I love doing, something so dear to my heart. But as I began to grow, I began to hear things like, oh, you're too short. You're never going to grow taller. You're not going to grow taller than this. Over and over, from people I knew, from friends, my mother's friends, my daddy's friends. I began to hear those words. I began to hear, are you sure you can do it? You said you can do it. Are you really sure you can do it? I began to hear, oh, you are too big, you're too fat. Are you sure? Are you sure? You need to, you are doing too much. I began to think I was doing too much. And I began to slowly become what? A shadow of my own self. The girl that would stay hours in the mirror staring at herself, I would hide from the mirrors in our house. A real life story. I will pass a mirror, I will close my eyes and I will run out. I didn't want to see myself. And somebody might look at me today and be like, oh wow, why were you hiding? Why were you hiding in it? Why are you hiding from the mirror? You can talk now. But yes, before I knew the world, I knew who I was. But as I encountered the world began to tell me who I was not. They told me I'm too what? I'm too much. They told me I talk a lot. I laugh a lot. I smile too much. So people that know me will be like, this guy, when I encounter people, they tell me, you laugh too much. And back then it was a thing for me. But as I began to grow, I began to understand that, I would not give that credit to anybody except from God. Right? Where my confidence again ignited. I remember those days back in 2022. My sister would go out for an event and she would tell me I should come along. I'd be like, I don't want to go. She didn't know the reason. It was because I didn't think I was deserved to be seen. I didn't think I belonged in any room. True life story. But as time went on, I began to slowly find my own voice. I began to slowly know who I was again. I began to come back to the reality of who I was, who the little girl in me was. So before you become someone, or even if you knew who you were, when you grow up, the world is going to try to tell you who you are not. They are going to try to give you an identity. And that confidence as a lady might fade. I'm sorry, I'm talking to my ladies because it's our day. Alright. So now you know that confidence is something that is deliberate, because it took me time to start building that up again. One step at a time. It is not something that you magically you come out and you are just confident. Yes, you can wear the most luxurious outfits, you can put your makeup on, but you still don't feel confident. Why? Because it is not something you get outside. It's not a validation you get from outsiders. I've seen so many beautiful ladies who will tell them, oh, you are so beautiful, but they don't believe it deep down. And nothing can cover up for it. I've seen people, they are doing so much great work, but when they walk into rooms, someone tells them, this is your idea. I don't think it will go anywhere. And if you watch some of this what do we call it? Forgotten the name actually. But people come up with the ideas and then people speak down on them, and then many years later it turned out to be a great idea. That is the fact, that is a proof, it's a news flash that someone says it's not good enough doesn't mean it's not good enough. Now that you know that you do not need external validation, confidence is something you build in from within. It is belief in yourself, it is trusting in your ability. Even when the world says it's not enough, even when the world says we don't see you, you see yourself. Even when no one claps for you, you clap for yourself. And you need it as a lady. You need it. Very, very important. Now, before I go on, I would like to know if you are skilled here. Can I see your hand? Like you have a skill going on in your life. What do you do?
Full stack software engineer and an aspiring data engineer.
Aspiring data engineer, but full stack what?
Developer.
Developer. Or any other person. Okay, so that means I'm speaking to people who are becoming. Am I right? You are becoming, or the process you're trying to discover. What about what you aspire to be? What skill you aspire to acquire? Or what you aspire to be? Yes. Web developer. Okay. Did you just finish school? Or okay, but you're aspiring to be a web developer. What about you? Yes.
I want to become a medical laboratory scientist.
A medical what?
Laboratory scientist.
A medical?
Laboratory scientist.
Oh, right.
Of course, I know rejected.
Okay, knowledge of what part?
Data analysis.
Data analysis. Okay. So I can see I needed to ask the question because I don't want to be speaking to myself. I can see that a lot of ladies here are in the process of becoming, and there is nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Right? Because when you look at the women you aspire to be like, you are like, when am I going to get here? What is wrong? Is there anything wrong with me? Why is my own taking too much time? Why is it this painful? It is because you are on the process of becoming. Somebody say, I am on the process of becoming. Beat your hand on your chest and say, I am on the process of becoming. You believe it deep down that you are on the process of becoming. Alright. So, for you to build confidence, it is to know that even though I know I'm on the process of becoming, doesn't mean I'm lesser than someone who has already gone ahead of me. A very quick story. This one is quite long, but because I asked this question, I will introduce it to you. 2021, I began my journey as a graphic designer. I was learning at Aptech, and I was learning graphic design. And there was one specific day, we had an in-house event. What happened? They asked us to come down. We were going to have an in-house event about IoT, information technology, programming, robotics engineer. Those words were like so big for me that time. I was just passionate about design. But here I was in the midst of what? Male developers. They were coding. They are always carrying laptop around. He was the managing laptop I had back then. I was still trying to figure out what CorelDRAW was, and people are already building robots that were moving, closing doors, different types of innovations. But I was just there, right? But I was then on the process of becoming. And I remember that particular day of that event. The host looked at everybody, was like, hey, all of you one by one, introduce yourself and say what you do. I was like, Bagam, what am I going to say? What am I going to say now? Me that I'm still trying to understand CorelDRAW. What's the meaning of this? Everybody was confidently introducing themselves, back-end engineer, front-end engineer like this, our sister, full-stack developer, robotics engineer, me, only me. I was the graphic designer in their midst, and I was a female. And there were so many male, I was the only one there. Because to my turn, I said, I'm a designer, let me not, implicate myself, so that the person not think maybe it's product design, because product design was in a big buzzword that time. So that the person now said, hey, she's a product designer. I now said, I'm a designer. They now said, what type of designer? I said, graphic. He said, is it UI UX or graphics? I said, graphics. He said, okay, you should look into UI UX design. But I was speaking so slowly that I was speaking so quietly. Why? Because I was in a room where people were doing innovative things, they were doing big things. But yeah, I was still trying to understand how CorelDRAW works. I didn't even know if I would end up as a graphic designer. I was just moving as the spirit leads. But I was like that back then because I hadn't known the skill enough to become confident in what I do. It's only someone who knows themselves well that can say, I know what I can do. So because you're still on the process of becoming doesn't mean you're not getting somewhere. It doesn't mean that you're less of yourself. It doesn't mean that your ideas don't matter. It doesn't mean that even that business idea you have, even though you don't know how to execute it, doesn't matter. Your voice matters. Whatever it is you say, it matters. You are just on the process of what? Becoming. And growth requires everything from you. It wasn't easy for me to get here 5 years later, over 5 years later. And I'm still on the process of becoming. Because everybody still is in the process of becoming. So you have to take it easy yourself. Take it easy on yourself. Right, something magic happened that day. I was so curious about product design. I went home that day. I began browsing. I was browsing from blog to blog, YouTube video to YouTube video, newsletter to newsletter. I was just researching. And 5 years later, I'm building products. I'm excited. I love to wake up to the work that I do. I'm not miserable. I enjoy what I do. I love to wake up to solve problems. To solve problems for business is something I love to do. So I'm not working. I'm having fun. Somebody say, I will have fun in what I do. You are not just going to do what others are doing or do what is the buzzword. You are going to be happy. But before then, I tried out a lot of things. I tried out graphic design, I tried out video editing, I tried out animation, 3D animation with Blender. I tried out even affiliate marketing. So it's not going to be easy, but you have to keep going. You have to keep searching, you have to keep pushing yourself. And that leads me to the first thing. If you feel like if there's something within you that doesn't believe in the capacity that you have, that doesn't believe in what you are going to do, or who you claim you know you are, but somehow the world is telling you are not that, if you somehow in any part of your life, whether it's the way you speak, or the skill you have, or where you're getting to, you don't have confidence, I'm going to tell you how you build that confidence, especially if you are trying to get yourself within this tech ecosystem. Because I've been there. The first thing you need to do is to define your identity. Right? Like I told you a story. Before I started out, I knew who I was when I was born. But before I could grow up, the world already told me who I was. And so I shrinked myself. I became a people pleaser. I said okay to everything. Oh, let this one, okay. I didn't have like a definition of who I was, what I wanted to chase. And it will make a whole lot of difference if you can define who you want to be, what you want to chase. It will save you a lot of time. You are not going to be doing things because others are doing it. If you are trying something that doesn't work, you will start another one. Your failure doesn't have to define you. So the first thing you need to do is to define yourself. I'm trying to go fast. Define your identity for yourself. Because the world has already told you who you are, you have to already define who you are. You have to start again to start building that self-belief. And I'm going to tell you, not something that has worked for me, but the truth. You cannot find who you are outside of who has made you. It's more like somebody asking you what version of phone you have. Maybe it's Techno, you're like, it's Techno. Techno what? Windows what? MacBook what? You have to go and look at the details to know the version that you are using. And now tell the person, this is the IP address, so this is the version that I'm using, this is the name, Samsung S21, that you give the you know the details. You have to go and know. So you cannot know who you are outside of who has made you. And who made you? Who made you? Who made you? Thank you. God is the one who made you. He gave you an identity before the world gave you another identity. I'm not going to stand here and tell you and preach to you. I began to become confident when I began to see women on social media. I began to become no, my confidence comes from the Lord. I found my identity when I returned to the maker of the one who gives identity. So the world told me you're doing too much, but my maker told me I'm enough. The world told me my ideas don't matter, but he told me my ideas matter. The world told me to hide, I'm not good enough. My maker told me I am a light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. No one light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Have you ever brought light to remove your bulb and put it under your bed? No. You keep it where it will be shining back, and that is what your maker calls you. He calls you a light. He said you cannot be hidden. Even though it feels like nobody knows you, nobody cares about your story. Your maker cares. And not only that he cares, he wants your story to be known. Why? Because he said, let your light shine so forth that men will begin to see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. God wants your life to give him glory, each and every one of you. He wants what you are doing, regardless of how little you see it. He wants it to give him glory. So you don't define your identity outside of the one who has made you. So the first thing you need to, I know it might sound like, from building confidence, what does finding your identity has to do? Because when you know yourself, even when somebody tells you you are not this, you know you are. You don't need to prove to that person, I know who I am. Even if you are building something with you and you say, this your idea is lame, I know. I might not be perfect, but I know my ideas are not lame. Even when you tell me I'm not as beautiful, I don't need your validation because mine comes from deep within. So the first thing you need to do is define that your identity. And what? It comes by hearing. Because the you believe to be came by hearing as well. Somebody told you, this tech you are going into, others are becoming medical doctors, you want to go and go into tech. It takes time, 10 years, 3 pass, you never see money. So it takes re-engineering what you have heard, and it comes by hearing something else. So somebody told you are this. You tell that person, no, the one who made me says I am this. You begin to re-engineer your thoughts. You begin to re-engineer who you have called yourself to be. And it comes from actively doing it. Because confidence comes from action. It doesn't come by sitting down and folding your hands. It comes from standing up and deciding to take action. You know what? I may not feel like this, but this is who I want to become, and I'm going to work towards it. It comes when you take a step forward. Saying, this is what I want to learn. I don't have the resources. I learned product design. I didn't pay shish. I didn't pay any money. Just random resources. Wasn't easy though. But have I gotten to where I want to be? At least I am still going there. But I'm proud of how far I've come. So you need to re-engineer your identity. So every morning you wake up, I know this might sound like it's the meditation they teach you on YouTube or manifestation. You wake up in the morning, I am beautiful, I am bold. But you know the difference between that one and the one I'm telling you to do? It is because the one I'm telling you to do comes from the mouth of someone who his word is alive. You are not speaking random words. You're speaking truth. You're speaking life. Because the power of what? Life lies in the tongue. So you either choose to speak what? Death, or you choose to speak life. And whatever you choose to speak, that becomes your reality. So I don't know what you are facing. I don't know the trauma you are passed through. I don't know the problem you're going through. I don't know what you're dealing with when it comes to your confidence. Or even if you have confidence, you can become more. There is more you can give to the world. Even what you believe you can give to the world, there is probably more. There is more. There is always more. God designed us that way. He said humans are insatiable. There is always more. He didn't make a mistake when he designed us like that. So today, before you walk into a room as a lady, you have to have an identity of yourself. Even people randomly give that idea. Before you get married, make sure you know who you are, so that you don't be pursuing another person's dream. And it might sound like it's always a cliche advice, but you have to know who you are. So that even if you walk into a room you feel you don't belong, you will remember there is no room that I don't belong in. If you are there, you belong there. There is no idea that is too small. Now that you've defined your identity, right? By doing what every day you wake up, re-engineer your mind by hearing. And when you start it early, you will feel like a fraud. You just graduated school, you are doing NYS, you are finished paying your 77 back. No money again. But I know I want to come at any $1,000. I know I want to be any $180,000 by the end of the year. But it seems like where you are and where you are become, where you want to go is too far. But you get there by what? Knowing who you are, and also knowing that there's no pressure you are becoming. So if you have confidence issues, first thing you need to do is what? Change your identity. Start to re-engineer your identity by practicing meditation every day. Not manifestation. Meditation on the word of the one who has made it, the word of our Lord Jesus Christ. Then the second thing you need to start doing, if you want to build confidence, is to master the art of communication. I've seen so many ideas go to the dustbin of so many companies because the employees don't know how to communicate their ideas. It's not that your boss hates you. It's not that your idea is not good though. Even you that is giving the idea, you still have belief this idea is good though. But when you presented it, they threw it out. Happened to me. It's not that your idea is not good. Probably you don't know how to communicate. Communication is a very is a life skill. If you don't have communication, if you don't have a good communication skill, I'm not sure you can go so far. Because everything you do is communicating. To tell someone who you are, you communicate. You meet someone you like tomorrow, you want to tell them, these are my values, these are my principles, you have to learn how to communicate it. Everything you do has to do with what? Communication. And how does mastering the art of communication have to do with building confidence? It is because even people give you a listening ear. Even before they give you a listening ear on that's your idea, they have to understand what you're saying. If they don't understand what you're saying, they will not give you a listening ear. Daddy, please, oh, I need money. I remember the first time, because I was once a chorister. I was a chorister. Or when I'm saying I was, because my church is kind of far, so I barely find time to make to the church. But when I was actively a chorister, when I graduated from secondary school, I told my dad, we are going for this competition, we need money for clothes. He kept delaying me like this, with my rolling around, we'll be battling. Daddy, please give me money. He said, I'm coming, I'll bring the money. Not because he didn't have the money to give me. The day he gave me that money, he told me one thing. What are you going to get from this thing you are doing? I said, I'm going to praise the Lord. He said, after praising the Lord, what will you give? I didn't know what to answer. I said, it will train my voice. It will make me better. It will make me a confident singer. He now gave me the money. That day he learned to teach me something called communication. If people don't see value, what to ask them to do, they will not follow you and do too. Even if you don't have money, I want to build a business tomorrow. To convince somebody to become your co-founder, you have to communicate your value. So everything you have to do lies in the intersection of communication. I once tried to jump into a partnership with someone, and I reached out to the person. I was talking to the person because we are somewhat familiar. Although we are not actually related, but we are familiar. I know, person, this is what I want to do. Please, let's partner. The person said, okay. I shared my ideas. Even before I finished sharing my ideas, she said, no problem, we can partner on this together. But she told me something shocking that day. She said, two other people have asked for this the same thing, but we did not go ahead with it. I did not understand what they were saying. And that day, I marked it, the importance of communication. Because I communicated not just the value, even before I communicated everything that lies in it, she has said yes because she understood what I was saying. So as a dear lady, don't think your face can get you through so many rooms. It can get you into as much rooms, but there are rooms that you need more. You need to learn how to communicate value, how to communicate yourself, how to communicate your idea, how to communicate your goals, how to communicate things that will make people see the value in what you do. So you want to land a job, you go on interview, and you are speaking Chapman. Nobody is going to give you that job. If you can't communicate what you are doing, why will I give you the job? I've been on a job interview before. I was not qualified for that job. But the person said, you know what, let's proceed with you. One of the person was almost begging me. I was not qualified. What happened? I was so confident. If you see my face on the camera, I was so confident in what I do. I didn't know everything. I wasn't as qualified. I would say like maybe 60-70% qualified. But what got me to the job? The power of communication and confidence. So you need to master the art of communication if you want to build confidence. Because if you present your idea to somebody, they say no. You present your idea to another person, they say no. It might not be that your idea is bad, but it's because you don't know how to communicate. All right. I don't know. Can I scream? Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, it's back. So you need to learn how to communicate. Another amazing example. I believe some of us, if not all, if not all, you go to church or you have at least heard the story of David. David was a boy. His 3 siblings went on a walk with Saul to go and face Goliath. But they didn't have anybody that could face Goliath. They were trembling, they were afraid. Somehow the father of David, Jesse, sent him, well, you can't check your brothers, know if they are alive, and give them this thing when you go. David got there, he was engrossed in the whole thing because he was just a shepherd boy. He didn't know much, but he was excited to be there. He got carried away. What happened? He now heard people saying, nobody can face this, but the king has promised, King Saul has promised, if you stand against this man and win him, not only will you have all this, but you will have in the hand of his daughter, Miriam, in marriage. David said, I can do it, I can stand. Some people overheard him and went and told King Saul, this is what this guy has said. Saul summoned him. And he said, I can stand against that giant, I can bring him down. Saul said, you are just a boy. You are not even a trained soldier. What do you know? Then David began to communicate. He said, my king, while I was in the fields, guarding against the sheep, I have torn bears, I have torn lions that attack my sheep. I have brought them, I have destroyed them. If you let me go, I'm going to destroy this Goliath in that the same way. And while I was doing all this in the fields, my God was with me. And I know that when I go there as well, He will be with me and I will defeat the giants. Saul listened and Saul said, oh yeah, go. David just communicated who he was. His brother saw him as a cheap brat. King Saul saw him as a boy. But David knew who he was and he communicated it in that the same way. If your ideas must make it past so many roots, you need to learn how to communicate those ideas. That is why you need the importance of communication. Because if people constantly reject your ideas, you might start thinking something is wrong and you will lose confidence in what you do. But you need to learn how to communicate. Communicate your skill. Communicate the value you can give to someone if you become a data analyst. Communicate the value you can give to a business if you become a developer. Communicate the change you can bring in someone's life in whatever it is that you're doing, especially as a lady. Not that it's not good for men, no. But there is a point to where your looks can get you to. Now, the next thing you need to do in order to become or build confidence as a woman in this tech ecosystem is to master the art of presentation. Presentation in simple words is packaging. Just packaging. So, if if you are someone, I'm saying this from practical experience. You have good idea, but when they call you to present it, slides are all over the place. Excuse me, sir, you are on a meeting. Excuse me, ma'am, you are on a meeting, you are on an interview, and you are jumping from one. You are saying, please wait, let me open to this page. Nobody is going to take you seriously. Now I'm going to describe, because we are ladies, two sides of it. The first is how you present your work and make it easy for people to skip through, to understand. You need to master the art of presentation. So if you're in the process of becoming a data analyst, you need to learn. Even if I'm a newbie, even if I'm still on the process of, I'm still taking a course, why will somebody take me as an intern? Even if you want to send somebody a cold email, don't go and use ChatGPT and hyphen is everywhere. You just send it like that. Learn how to present it in such a way that when somebody sees that, like, this person not to have anything they will offer me, but they seem like they have somewhere they are going. They seem they can be of a very great help. So again, you need to master how to present what it is you do, so that your enthusiasm doesn't count on presenting sharply. I know it because it has happened to me. I'll be presenting my work anyhow because it's my team now. It's not a Fortune 100 company. It's not a Fortune 500 company. It's my team. If they invite you now to Apple to come and talk about what you are doing, you will spend weeks editing pitch deck, editing slides, make sure it's perfect. But because it's your classroom, you pull up the next day, you just present sharply. So if you're still on the process of becoming, it means you're getting somewhere. You need to look like who you are becoming. If you're an excellent person, even if you're an intern, even if you're still taking a course, what you post on social media, the way you are taking a course, does it reflect that I'm going to get there in 5 years like I said I'm going to get there? Another thing, this one is very important as a lady. Master the art of presentation when it comes to how you look. Package yourself. Because the truth is that even before someone speaks to you, they are very concerned about whether they want to speak to you or not. I'll give a practical example as a lady. Right? I'm not a big fan of wig. I don't fancy wig that much. Maybe at this point in my life. But there is a wig you want. You look at this wig. The person, the vendor that posted it said it's 300k. You know it's 300k, but what I have is 150. You reach out, the person say no, there's nothing we can do. It's 250 that is the last. You say no problem. It's worth it, but I don't have the money. Let me keep saving. But they say another week that someone bring and then is 100k. You look at the thing and like, nah, this thing is sponge. This thing is 50k. There's nothing you can tell me. And sometimes as ladies, you have purchased something higher than the actual price just because of the way they packaged it. And you were like, I even got it at a cheaper price, but the person sold it at a better price. Just the way they packaged it. Premium service. Luxury, you just package it inside carton. But look, it's not portrait. You as a lady now, there's a guy that will be walking up to you. Even before the guy reaches you, you have said no in your mind. You have crossed your mind. I cannot talk to this kind of person. You have already judged the person. And I'll tell you something similar to the last story I said. When God chose Saul, he used someone called Samuel as a prophet. Now Samuel is a prophet back in the days, just like you have your pastor and your priest. Now when Samuel went to anoint Saul, everything went well, but at some point God said, you are going to now anoint David. When he went to anoint David, what did he see? He saw the first son of Jesse, that is the first brother of David. And he said, this is a warlord. This is the one that God has chosen indeed. See more so. This is the one that will be the king of Israel. But God whispered something to him. He said, I don't look at the outward appearance of a man. I look at their heart. But let me shock it to you. God looks at the heart, but men look at your outside appearance. It is the way it is designed. This quote of don't judge a book by its cover. People judge you by your cover. People judge you the way you look. It's a normal human thing. So even before a guy approaches you, with the way he looks, you have already judged if you say yes or no. You did not know you did it in your mind. It's an automated thing. So you need to be conscious of the way you present yourself, because even before you present your idea, somebody is going to look at you and say, This one that is just like this. What idea does she have? Why should I listen to her? Your link, your profile picture is where you're at the back of the kitchen. Why will recruiter take you seriously? Is it because you are an intern, you snap that kind of picture? Because you are an enthusiast? Alright, they're signaling for me to end. So I'm going to try to get through it very fast. So you need to learn to master how you present yourself. Make effort, even if you don't have all the resources. People sometimes dress in the reflection of the way they see themselves. So the way you see yourself, you begin to dress differently. And trust me, it's very important as a lead. People will judge you by the way you dress. If you want to be seen as luxurious, you have to dress luxurious, even if you are still going to bend down select. You can still be luxurious with bend down select. You are still on the process of becoming. You don't have to feel shy about it. Because the way you dress can also connote the type of confidence you have as a lady. Right? Even before you walk into a room, people are already respecting you. Whether you are intelligent or not, they are respecting you. Whether you have said a word or not, they believe she has something valuable to say. Very important. Especially if you're in the tech ecosystem, because you're going to go in out for events, you're going to meet people. And how people take you seriously or your idea of what you're saying depends on what you look like, your packaging. Now, the last one is to start before you are ready. You need to start before you are ready. I'll give you a very practical example. I saw a guy on YouTube, morbidly obese. Kind of obesity that you can't stand up on a chair. But he made a decision, I will start. I'm tired of living like this. For you to be tired, your account is constantly on zero. You are borrowing urgent 2K all the time. There has to be something you're tired about. Right, but I'll just finish up the story. He made a decision, started taking his health seriously, what he was eating seriously, and over time, what happened? 3 months, he was saying he now feels confident in himself. Was it because he has lost all the weight? No. It was not because he had lost all the weight. It was not because he had gotten to the end of his journey. It was something very simple. He was taking action to the person he wanted to become. So confidence is an action word. It is something you do daily breathing. You are not confident in your skill like I was back in 2021 as a graphic designer. It is because you have not studied it enough. It's because you don't know what to say. But when you begin to read books, you know how to speak. You can't become a good speaker or a writer if you don't read. I can walk into a conversation like this and I'll start with someone, I can sit down for 3 hours because I read. I watch documentaries. I want things that add to my impact. So if you're going to build that confidence to walk into places, sell yourself. Be confident. You need to learn to master what? How to start before you are what? Ready. Final story on this particular point. I was 2025. I had this idea I'd written down on my journal, and I totally forgot about it. A business idea. What happened? I forgot about it. Started my 2026. New year, new me, new goal. Going hard. But somehow there was something in my heart. There's this business I need to start. Something else led me back to my 2025 journal. Lo and behold, that business idea was written on the first page. I should start. I made a decision that day. I'm going to start this business. I don't know everything I need to know about this niche, but I'm going to start. Guess what? I only have to do 7 posts on LinkedIn to get the first person reach out to me. I know what you do about this. Let us collaborate. I would like to work with you. I didn't know much about that TV, but the much I knew and that I talked about was enough for the person to feel like I could help them. And actually, I had a meeting and I saw that I could help them. Right? So, you need to start before you're ready. Stop over-preparing. Stop looking for the person that will give you 15K to buy that course when all you have is 1K. Go on YouTube and start. Find blogs. Follow people on social media. It might not be what you want, but you're getting to where you want to get to. Finally, now you've started, even when you're not ready, even when you feel like you don't have everything all together, but you're started, you're taking baby steps, you're building confidence, because the more you know, the more you learn, the more you become confident in what you're about to say. Finally, is to find your own people. People that make you better than you are. You should should not be comfortable in a room where you are the best. You are in the wrong room if you are the best in that room. People that push you, genuine people. I said find your people, but what I would say is find your Jonathan. Jonathan was the son of David, son of Saul, sorry. I like this story so much. He was meant to be the next king after Saul, but God chose David. And Saul was trying to kill David. Jonathan was the next, he was supposed to be the next king. But he wasn't jealous of David. In fact, he saw David like his own brother. He loved, the Bible said he loved David. Somebody that is meant to be his own competition. So you need to find your own Jonathan, somebody that is not competing with you. Somebody that admires you, somebody that will tell you the truth, not someone that is nice to you, somebody that is kind to you, kind enough to tell you that, you know, see, this thing you are doing, this movie you are watching every weekend is not helping your life, oh. Better buckle up. You say you want to be here in 5 years, you want to leave Nigeria, you are watching movie every Saturday, you all of Saturday. Somebody that tells you the honest truth. For me, it is my sisters. It doesn't have to be a stranger. It can be your mother, it can be your father. If there is love at home, you can find people like that. People that get you on your feet. People that when you are discouraged, they say, come, let's do it together. You need at least one person like that. And most importantly, if you can find one person that is in your circle that is doing that thing, that is something that, let me say you're trying to become a data analyst, find somebody that does that in that niche. And you can find people like that on social media. Present yourself well. I like to connect with you. I love what you're doing. Don't block them. Right. So when you are slowly but surely becoming that type of person, there's no way people will ignore you. You know how to communicate. You know how to be excellent at what you do. You know who you are. You have a self-identity. People cannot ignore you. They can't ignore your idea. So to build confidence as a woman, identify who you are. Start before you are ready. Master the art of communication. Master the art of presentation. Do these 4 things, and you will not enter any place and you will not be recognized, because I believe everybody likes a sense of recognition in whatever it is that they do. And we have finally come to the end of this session. I hope I was able to teach you as a lady how not just to stand, but to stand confidently in this tech ecosystem. Thank you so much for having me.
All this time, I've been holding on so tight, 'cause all that I do was easy to use. So call my time, but you weren't really mine, just something to do. Thought I'd never